Hello everyone. In today's class, I will be going to explain you about basic introduction part of DBMS. Uh, Firstly, we'll understand about the what is meant by data and what is meant by database, and then with DBMS. So, what is meant by data means, suppose if you take an information of a student and their roll numbers and their addresses. Like, suppose a class contains 60 students, they have seated in their places, and you just collected the information of each and every student bench wise. Now you have an information of a particular class and their roll numbers and their district or their age or something else like some information about their rank. Okay, you have a data of a students sections. 1 second. You just collected a class, suppose CSC class contains 30 students. This 30 students data you have. Which kind of data you have? Student name, roll number, and the district. So students are in a row wise, right? They are not, suppose, actually in the class, they'll not sit in a district wise, right? They'll just sit with their friends. Means the data will be in the data, you have a mixed set of data. You want the data belongs to which district. Now what you'll do, you just collected the information from the class. Okay, so the information which you have collected is called as a data. You have a data. Next, when you arrange the data in a proper way, now after collecting the data, now what's your turn? You arrange the data in a district wise. First, you have entered all the district names. First district and the district belongs to the which student. You have entered that student name. Next, you have selected the second district and entered all the students that are belongs to that district. Okay. Now this is called as organized data. Now we have a collection of organized data. Previously, what happens? You have a data which is not in an organized manner. You have a data, but it is not in a label. Okay, the unlabeled data is called as unlabeled information is called as a data, and organized data, well labeled, well structured data is called as a database. Here you can access the data easily, right? When you arrange the data in a proper way, this is called a database. So what is meant by database management system? So here this database system is called as a software. It is a tool which helps us to get the data which is present in the database. Suppose assume that this is a database which contains the name, roll number, and district of each and every student. Okay, so what are the operations that you can perform on this data is on this database is you can get the data of each and every student belongs to the particular student, and you can update the student details if any student added, and you can manipulate the data of a particular student if you entered in a wrong position. You can get the data, you can store the data, all the operations you can perform when you have a structured data like database. Means, okay, when you arrange the data in a tabular format, you can get it easily. So in simply, here the database management simply offers these kind of operations to perform on the database. Okay, it's a software which allows us to store, retrieve, get, manipulate all kind of operations on the data. Here the data must be in an organized way or well structured way so that it will be easy. Okay, so that is nothing but a database management system. So why it is required? Why we need to learn this database management system? If we don't have a DBMS software, what happens? Suppose there is no technology of the DBMS. Let us assume it. What you will do? You just write all names and roll numbers of districts of each and every student. You just collected the information. Now, what's your turn? The next turn is you'll arrange each and every student uh, based on the district ways. District 1, district 2 is separated, and you are entering it. While you are entering, you may do mistakes like you may enter the same person in two districts, right? The same student name will be present in the district 1 and district 2 also. There is a duplicate data. You may enter the same name of that student in the same district way. Yes, there will be a duplicate data, inconsistent data. Suppose you may enter the student name in a wrong district way, whether if it is belongs to district 1, you may enter in a district 3. Suppose means if it is small set of data, then you can perform it easily. We can do it so easily. But when you have a, suppose when you are going with an admission part, then you will get lots of students data from the different colleges. In such situations you cannot do it manually, right? You cannot sort it out manually. So that is very difficult. So it is very hard to search if you want to find out any student belongs to a particular district. Then you need to search each and every district, each and every student. Then it is very difficult, hard to search. And if you have information in a book, then is anyone can access that book? Yes, anyone can access that belong. We have to go to that particular book and we need to search it. So if multiple users want to, like, if two persons want to check their name in that book, then how does it happen? No, right? At a time, multiple users cannot access that book. Yes or no? So here there is no multi-access. And if it is book stolen or if it is broken, if it is if any paper is uh, turned into two pieces, we cannot get it back. Again, we'll start with the starting point, right? All this makes us to learn DBMS, right? These are the manual work which makes difficult to do the task. That's where here the DBMS came. Why? What does DBMS do for us is, so you have an information of the different districts data in your different places. Here here the DBMS provides us all the data in one place, and it will remove any duplicate data. It will allow us to add any new data. It will allow us to any, if you want to delete any data after you entering it, if you want to modify it, you can do it. You can get the data whenever you want. All these things allows us a DBMS. So you can also maintain the protection, like how if book is accessible everywhere. If it is, if you have placed that book in somewhere else, anyone can open that book and check the information about particular districts. So there is no access security there. Okay, if you forgot that book, what happens? Anyone can open that book and check the information, right? There is no security there. So here you can provide the security. How does it means? Only particular users can access this information. You can provide, you can mention the access control by giving access to only authorized people. Here there is a password protection. You can give ID and password to the people who want to access the data. Okay, authorized people can access it. And at a time, if the book want to access multiple persons in the same way, here the data can be accessed anyone anywhere. Here the book you want to access it, what do you do in your real time? You just go to that book where it is present, you'll go it and you'll refer it, right? So if at it in the same way, if any person came to that book, what happens? You both will fight to access that book. But here it does not happen. Anyone can, anywhere at which place they are, they can also access the data, whatever they want. They can perform whatever the operations they want. So here the same data will be seen by all the users. There is no change. So if it is deleted by mistake, we can retrieve it. We can restore it the data. So if suppose you want to find out any person name in that book, you can easily find out. Manually, we cannot find it. We need to check each and every room, each and every page to find it. If that person is present at the last, it's very too hard. It takes so much of time. But when it comes to the DBMS, we can easily get that person data by just by clicking the search operation. Okay. Next, all this makes us DBMS to learn. So what are the main components of this DBMS system is, the main components are hardware, software, data, users, and procedures. We'll see one by one. The first one is hardware. So the physical devices which requires a database system to run is, the database system runs to run this system. They require a server, they require a computer, hardware, and network equipment. Like how we need a space to store the book, in the same way we need a space like a server to store our data, right? So the person who is who is writing data into that book, the database we are entering, the data we are entering here, instead of book in a database we are entering the data. Okay, if the database is nothing but a book, the person is common to update the data. Okay, so here the operations which makes us easy. So instead of searching each and every place to find out the person, we just enter a particular query, we'll get the data and we can access it easily. What does DBMS allows means we can through network, we can through an internet, we can access the data easily without going to the particular book position. We are able to access the data anywhere from any place, right? So these are the components that we need to require when it comes to the hardware part. Next, software. So here we need to install the DBMS software. So there are the n number of softwares which supports the DBMS. Like if you take MySQL, Oracle, all the softwares allows us to create a database and manipulate the data. Okay, these softwares interact with the server. And we need an application program like an interface. Like if you take an example of phone pay, what happens here, the phone pay interface, you just clicking on a check balance, you are getting output like how much balance you have in your account. You are not writing any code to get the output of your balance. You're just entering the click and you're just entering the password. It is checking, and what happens at the background means there is a query that is running to get your data from the database. It is authenticating your data, whether it is belongs to you or not, whether it is correct or not. All this happens at the background. So the application program which interact with the database and getting information from the database is called as an application program, and it will display to the user. Next, operating system that supports DBMS. So to store the data, to store the files, we need a proper operating system that will support us, that supports DBMS. Okay, so these are the software that we need to create and update the data. Like you can use any software. Next, the information what we have called is called as a data. When suppose if you take users data like student name, marks, district name, everything that comes under users data. Okay, the data which you want to enter or update or store. Next, you have an information. Information is about information. Like data is called as a metadata. Like you have a marks will be in integers, right? Like numbers. You have a names will be in as alphabets. So when you have a data is about to data which type of data you are entering, that is called as a structure of table, that comes under metadata. Okay, so when you see an example, then you'll get to know each and everything, structure of table. Next, indexing. Suppose there are n number of books in a library. Suppose you want to access a particular book. Okay, so if you don't know the exact place of book which you want, what do? You need to go each and every rack, each and every row, each and every column. You'll search it and you'll find out it. Okay, it is difficult, right? So when you know the exact position of the book, then you can go directly to the book and you can access it. In the same way, it will database. In database, we can get the exact position of the data which we have stored in a table. Fast searching is possible. Okay, like how we'll get the how we able to find the book easily when you know the exact position. In the same way, we can get the information easily through indexing. Okay, next, transaction logs is like a backup, like rough book versus fair notes. What happens when you want to maintain a fair notes? You'll just write it on a rough notes. The rough notes, fair notes both have an information, same information, but it's like it is where if you do any mistakes, what you do, you just do some strikeouts. Okay, it's just for backup. Okay, in the same way here the transaction logs involves all the activities, it will record it. That is comes under data. Next, when it comes to the users, so there are the entire there are the types of users which interact with our database management system, like end users. We're just using an application. Like if you take an example, phone pay, you're just using that application, you're just performing whatever you want, you're just clicking it. That is called as an end user. The person who is maintaining your data, like your account balance, your how much amount you have deducted, each and every operation who is maintaining it is in database. Like each and every operations when you perform, it will be updated, deleted, and changed, right? All these operations when you perform. So the database administration manages all these uh, database related. It's application programmer write code to connect to the database. When you are clicking it and it is connecting with the database, right? You're just entering. I mean, when just check balance, get balance, like when you want to check balance, when you want to enter amount, when you want to withdraw amount, all these operations you are just entering, and just by clicking it, it is interacting with the database. There is a connection between the user and the database. Who is performing this connection? Who is the mediator here? That is called as an application programmer is interacting. There is a code that will connect with the database and the user. Okay, so when you just there is will deal with the queries like you just check balance. When you just click it, you'll get it is a query like get data, get amount. When you just withdraw, when you just click an option called a withdraw, how it is query connecting with the database, how we are able to access the amount in ATM machine. So there is a code behind it to interact with the database that comes under application programmers. Okay. Next, so the person who has designed this database management comes under system analyst. So all this comes under users. Next, there are some rules and restrictions that we need to follow before interacting with the DBMS when we are maintaining the DBMS main system. If you don't follow, what happens? If you don't write the query properly, what happens? If user enters 10,000 amount, if he has a 1,000 rupees, if he enters 10,000, will you get it back? No. So here what happens, you have to verify the account balance. You need to cross check it. Then you need to give access to withdraw the amount. Yes or no? So if you don't, if you have to maintain it properly, the database. Next. So when a user forgot the password, but you have there should be an option to recover that account. You have to mention some policies, rules, and regulations with database management system. All this comes under procedures, okay, which you design to operate with and maintain the database managers. Okay, these are the components of the DBMS. I hope the today's topic is clear. So why we need to learn the DBMS and what involves in the DBMS system. What is meant by data, what is meant by database, and what is meant by DBMS. Okay. So finally, the DBMS is nothing but it is a software which allows us to interact with our data, like we can how when you perform multiple operations on data without changing it. Okay, that's all for today. See in the next class with a new topic. Thank you, everyone. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Please do a comment in the comment section so that I can also improve my teaching skills. Thank you, everyone.